We're checking out the eerie world of The Casting of Frank Stone, a horror game that might just creep its way into your nightmares. The game kicks off in the 1960s. Instead of the usual gang of teenagers, you step into the shoes of Sam Green, a straight-faced by-the-books policeman investigating mysterious murders in Cedar Hills. The eerie setting of a creepy steel mill where a child has gone missing sets the tone for a dark and atmospheric experience. Playing as Sam throughout the first chapter is a nice shift from what the trailers suggested. Right from the start, the game teaches you its simple mechanics. You'll find yourself walking through environments, collecting clues and collectibles, and interrogating suspects. The lack of direct combat might be a surprise, but the game keeps things tense with skill checks, quick time events that can change the outcome of a scene. These skill checks might seem straightforward, but they can significantly impact your experience. Imagine not having a flashlight to explore dark hallways because you missed a quick time event. It's a small detail, but it adds up, making your playthrough unique. Fans of Dead by Daylight will feel right at home, as the quick time events are reminiscent of the skill checks from that game. As you navigate through the game, you'll be presented with branching choices. Whether you choose to be a concerned, assertive cop or a complete jerk, the game responds accordingly. Your relationships with other characters will shift, and the outcomes of certain events can change based on your decisions. However, it's worth noting that, at least in the prologue, these choices feel a bit like an illusion. The experience is quite linear, and while the tone and narrative are well set up, you might find yourself wishing for more agency. The game does a great job of maintaining a consistently dark tone though, and the direction is top-notch. If you're a fan of noir-inspired visuals, you'll appreciate the lighting that emphasizes silhouettes and the shades of red used to heighten tension. Visually, the casting of Frank Stone nails the atmosphere. The lighting is spot on, creating an uneasy feeling that keeps you on edge. The character models, including a well-crafted dog, look sharp and add to the immersive experience. One thing that really stands out is the audio design. The Foley work and ambient sounds are stellar, making every creak of steel, drip of water, and crackle of fire feel unsettling. The sound design is key in a horror game, and this one delivers, immersing you deeper into its world. Now, let's talk about performance. Playing the game on a high-end PC, you might expect it to run flawlessly, but that's not entirely the case here. On a rig with an 8-core Ryzen 7 CPU and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080, running the game at 1440p with ray tracing on, you'll get close to 60 FPS. However, the game has a few rough edges to polish. Frame generation seemed broken in this build, and the only way to boost performance was by turning off ray tracing. Doing so bumped the frame rate to around 80 FPS, which slightly improved the experience. But the constant stuttering is hard to ignore. Frame rate drops right when you need to hit a skill check can be frustrating, and lighting glitches can pull you out of the experience, especially in a game that relies so heavily on atmosphere. For fans of Dead by Daylight, there are plenty of Easter eggs scattered throughout the game. The quick time events mimic the skill checks from DBD, and some audio cues carry over as well. You might even stumble upon a hillbilly doll in a damp tunnel, a small but exciting nod to the DBD universe. These little touches add an extra layer of enjoyment for DBD fans, and it'll be interesting to see how these elements are woven into the full game. It's clear that the developers are catering to a specific audience, and if you're part of that crowd, these Easter eggs will be a fun bonus. The casting of Frank Stone has a lot going for it. The shift to a more serious protagonist and a dark, atmospheric setting is refreshing. The gameplay mechanics are solid, with skill checks adding a nice touch of tension to the experience. The visuals and audio design are top-notch, drawing you into the creepy world of Cedar Hills. However, there are a few areas where the game could improve. The linearity of the prologue and the illusion of choice might leave you wanting more agency. Performance issues, like stuttering and lighting glitches, can also detract from the overall experience. That said, if you're a fan of supermassive games or Dead by Daylight, there's a lot to love here. The game stays true to the SMG style while introducing new elements that keep things fresh. The dark tone, stellar direction, and Easter eggs for DBD fans make this a game worth checking out. So, is the casting of Frank Stone worth playing? If you're into horror games with a focus on atmosphere and narrative, it's definitely worth a look. Just be prepared for a few rough edges that might need some polishing by the time the full game launches. The game has potential, And if the developers can iron out the performance issues and expand on the choice and consequence mechanics, it could be a standout title in the genre. Thanks for watching. If you found this review helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. And if you decide to give The Casting of Frank Stone a try, let us know what you think in the comments below.